Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Londonderry View. It's hard to believe, but this is episode 42, and we're just happy to be with you. Tonight we have an extremely special guest, someone very unexpectedly that's sharing her time with us tonight. And I want to introduce to you Debbie Raymond. She's a world-renowned medium. She has 2 books that she's published on the topic, and she has clients all around the world, Japan and other countries. So, Debbie, we are excited and thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for coming.
And I love how it was unexpected, because that's typically how it happens. Like I said, fly by the seat of your pants, you know, because it's something that isn't planned sometimes. You're just at the right place at the right time. That's kind of what happened.
It really,
so
really
thank you very much.
is.
And I'm very just excited. When we all sat down at the table, I thought to myself, what a mixture of camaraderie that we have. And it's so exciting. And that builds energy. And holy mollies, like energy is just like all culminating here, and it's fantastic.
That's nice,
So
because
thank you.
and that's kind of how the View started. It was just happerchance that we were walking out of an event, and 4 of us, Kirby, you know, who unfortunately couldn't be with us today, but it was just the energy and talking, and here we are. Drew and Aaron behind the scenes made it happen. So
Yes, wonderful, wonderful. So thank you for having me. One of the things I want to explain about mediums and psychics and the difference between the two, because there is a difference. However, we all use the same universal source. So meaning we all have the same source, no matter what it is we believe in or what religion, anything at all, has the same source. So with a medium and a psychic, we use that same source. However, a medium talks to people who have passed away. We do a little bit more of different work, and it's not just telling a future, and it's more like past, present, future, and there's some past lives involved in that, and there's also, you know, like I said, people have passed away, so it's a little bit more integrated. And everyone in the field who has perfected that craft, it's an amazing thing to even provide, you know, to do something like that. So a medium, though, also has an amount of responsibility that I don't think people understand, of, you know, trying to appease the client or trying to appease whatever case you're working on. And it's a tough thing to be able to go in there and have that confidence. So you have to have that confidence to be able to do it and feel like you know what you're doing. You know, so it's a big responsibility, just like it is with any other job. But when you're really true to your craft, you want to be sure that you're balanced and maintained and happy, because that's how we are able to give to other people the gift that we have. And I want to tell you something. It's not something I understand either, because I'm still a mom, and I'm still a wife, and I'm still a daughter to somebody who happens to see people crossed over. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, even after I close the door and I'm done my work day, I still have to make dinner. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
do the laundry.
do the laundry, and also deal with the emotions of clients and deal with, you know, that big circle as well. So it's not an easy concept. But anyone working in the field, whether it's a psychic, intuitive, empath, there's so many people working in that spiritual field, that it all comes from a universal source, but we all may work differently. So it's a different style of working. So sometimes, even I have a very good friend who's an excellent psychic, that she works a lot on future for people or present for future. And it's very interesting, because when that happens, we, you know, try to help the clients. However, we can't be responsible for any choices or decisions they make once the session's over. Do you know what I'm saying? So and what's different about working with people who've crossed over is the communication I'm able to give the family or friends and, you know, family members from anyone who's crossed over is so distinct that it's something that I almost have to prove at times. This is what I can do. And when it's proven, it's such a great feeling, and it's not an ego feeling. It's a satisfaction that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Do you know what I'm saying? So there's a recipe to it, and there's the way everyone goes into work, and the way you begin, the way you end. I have that recipe, and I've learned that from the age of 2 years old until now I'm, you know, a middle-aged woman. Just how to perfect that and craft that, you know. So and it's not an easy thing, because everyone passes away differently. It's not roses and rainbows and unicorns, and do you know what I mean? So you're dealing with all those emotions from the dead and the living. So it's a concept you have to balance, you know. One time, I'll tell you a story. I'm a very spiritual person. I was born and raised Catholic, and anyone who was born in a religion who have practiced this religion, it's something that was ingrained in me as a child, and I carried it on into my adulthood. So when I began doing all these things, it was very interesting that I couldn't find people who understood what I saw. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's something that didn't come easy to me, and it was very hard for me to even discuss it with family or friends, because who would believe me that this could happen?
Right.
So I was starting to get little symbolisms here and there, and would see people that were my family members but who were passed away. And I'm like, oh, I'd say, Meme, who is this? And she'd tell me, Meme, who is this? And she would tell, but I was like, I saw that person. So if they're passed away, why am I seeing them? So I couldn't understand that. And trying to do it as a child and go through puberty and go through everything else that goes along with it, right? That's a tough thing. It's not an easy thing for me to go through. So I went,
friends.
and friends. So can you imagine going through periods of your life where you not only have to grow up and go to school and play sports and and do all that, but you see people who are passed away. It's like, oh my God, there's something wrong with me. So I had that for a good 20 years of this. Before any of that happened. Before I open us up for my business. And what's so strange about this is when I did it for the business, it wasn't because people go, oh, you're doing it for the money. I got to tell you something, I did it for free for a very long time. Do you know what I mean? So when I decided to do it as a business, so when I decided to legally open it up as a business, it grew to something that I didn't expect would happen, but then realizes there's that market for it, because people want to talk to those and things like that. So then I said, well, I need to be able to control it in a way that it doesn't overwhelm me, and I still have to do the responsibilities of my own life, because it can get so like a tornado.
How do you turn it off that, okay, I've got to go cook dinner now.
Exactly.
And I don't want to see any of you people wandering around.
Correct. So
how do you do that?
It's just like when you walk out of work and you walk out of here, your day is done. That's what I do. So it's like my day is done. Do you know what I mean? So, and we have what we call spirit guides, who are I call them like bouncers in a bar, who make sure that no other people on the other side, bust in that bubble, because I have to do my physical work. I have to get it done. Do you know? Yes, isn't that neat? Everybody has that. Everybody does. I just know how to talk to mine. Do you see what I'm saying? So once you learn how to talk to them, it's very interesting, because your relationship changes with things that you can't see. And what people need to understand is those spirit guides are your intuition. You hear this little voice, and it's not always an intuition. That's just what we named it. What that voice is like something other than you telling you to do these certain things, or this is that. Do you know what I'm saying? So I love teaching it and talking about it. And I became very smart in this process of learning how to do it, because I would start asking those who were passed away, and this is so not easy to talk about, but I'm going to, of how to do certain things, why did this happen, and they would answer me. So it was like, this is very interesting that I'm getting responses back, that now I'm beginning to understand we have something here, there's something going on here. So once I put the pieces together, just like with any job, I was being educated on how to do something. And once I was on the wagon and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna fight anymore, it just all happened. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was so fast. And in this book that I wrote, Bonnie Roth is one of my very, very loving friends, and she married us as well. And she's my co-author, and I love her dearly, and she is also my literary agent. And when she said to me, we need to write this story, we have to tell people how this happened. And it all begins when I was 2 years old. And when I was 2, I began seeing those who passed away, and realizing, how come my mom doesn't see him? How come this? Why did she only set 3 places, for dinner, and not the 4th one, because there's a kid sitting there right there? How come he wasn't bathing with us? Like, there was so many things I couldn't understand. and then going through the walls, like ghosts can go through walls. So that was something for me that was almost magical, and I was like, oh, I believe in magic.
Yeah.
This is magic. Do you know what I mean? So here they go, and she's got an overactive imagination, right? Do you know what I mean?
Imaginary
So yeah,
friends.
imaginary
Imaginary
friends,
friends.
which they were, right?
Right.
So, and it was like, who do I tell this to? So I went through kind of my childhood in that way, and sometimes when you think you've gained a real physical friend, you realize you can't even tell your physical friend what you see, because then they think you're crazy, they drop you, and now you have no friends, and then you build it up again. That's kind of what my childhood was like.
That's
So,
tough. That's
It was very tough. Yeah.
Yes,
And I
it-
think, would you admit though, as adults, so as we get older, we gain more confidence about ourselves.
Absolutely,
Where
yes,
now it's like you don't care about what people say.
True.
You know what I mean? And it's
Definitely.
like,
Yes, isn't
yes,
that
the
funny?
older
I
you
say
get,
that
right?
all the
And
time.
I've always kind of been that girl when I got older, to just accept it and go, what the heck, this is it, and this is all I'm going to do. And then it just became like that for me, so yeah, not an easy concept. And then the other book, which is so interesting, and I'm glad that we agreed to just mention it, is because Intentional Spirits is Voices from the Titanic, because the Titanic is coming, the anniversary in April. So we have won awards in London, New York, and Boston, Los Angeles for these two books. There's 7 in total, I believe. And this one is fantastic because Bonnie, would say to me, she said, how can you just like conjure them up? How could you just do it? I said, just like if a client comes to see me, I ask for their family members or friends to join me during the session. Of course, I can talk to certain people, no matter who it is. If it's Elvis, anybody, So she said, okay, why don't we try it? So when I did it, I was like, oh my gosh, like all this stuff started happening that I couldn't even believe myself. And I started documenting it, what happened. And then that's what that book was about. So, and they talk, the ones who came through would talk about before they went on the ship, when they were on the ship, and afterwards. It was just very interesting.
goodness.
Yeah, so, and I love talking about it. And even if someone doesn't believe me, I go, well, that's okay, because I know what I went through, and I know what I heard and saw, and I just had, this instinct, I'm just going to write it, and I'm just going to put it in there. And that's what ended up happening.
And the confidence to share
Yes,
it. That's
yes,
right. Yes.
exactly.
Cool.
Yes,
So now,
thank you.
do you see things when there people that have passed tell you, I died and I had a terrible pain in my chest? Do you like see them, or do you feel it? Or?
Yeah, so being a medium is all knowing. So it's past, present, future, as well as feeling how they passed away, feeling the emotion part of it, but also the physical part of it. So I remember one of the stories I was going to tell you in the beginning, and I just it just went by me. I'm a religious person, and I asked whatever my higher power was, why am I chosen to do this?
Right.
And he said, because you can. And I said, okay. However, what if I didn't want to do it? Because I just felt pancreatic cancer. I don't want to feel that. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And then at the same time, he goes, you can do it for a couple of seconds. You'll get the message of what it is, and then you can have it taken away. I said, okay. So every time I was asking them, like, how do I do this and not get hurt from it? Because I don't want to, get hurt from all this. And I realized I just have to feel it, acknowledge it, let it go. And so like it's a system, you know what I mean? So because what ended up happening in the very beginning when I was taking on a lot of clients, I was realizing I was getting very sick, and I was feeling all the stuff that they were feeling, and I didn't know, but it's actually called a medium sickness, and I didn't know that. So I asked a close friend of mine, and I said, this is how I'm feeling. I don't know what to do because I want to continue doing what I'm doing, but I'm physically getting ill, and I don't understand. So she mentioned a little prayer to me, and I added some words to it myself, and I end up doing this routine. Every time I speak to a client, I do this routine before and after, and I don't get sick. So do you see what I'm saying? So I'm like, it's so interesting that you just talk to people, you learn the information, and when you use it, it actually works. Well, isn't this wonderful? Do you know it? And that's what I was realizing. So I was realizing I was getting those things that I needed in order to do the work. And there was one thing that I was getting to with you a little bit earlier, was to try to keep it in control, because everyone lost somebody. Everybody has lost somebody, right? So if we go into Walmart, if you go to a concert and everything, it can get sometimes a little overwhelming. And yes, I have left carriages right there in the, in the aisle, and I leave and I can't do it. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like sometimes it's too much. So I tend to go shopping first thing in the morning, or you go late at night where nobody's shopping,
there.
or a lot of online shopping. So do you see what I'm saying? So it's like things that you do have to manage and control. And in terms of like the traffic coming in, you had asked me before, do you have a website?
Yes.
And I said no, because I've had a website before and I couldn't control the traffic that was coming in. So like, I had to go, okay, well, if someone ever said, well, you're doing it for the money, actually I'm not, because I'm controlling how many people I see, because I have to live my physical life and still give the best to whoever I'm giving sessions to. So I took off the website and I only run on Facebook. So do you know what I mean? Because I have to. And I really feel that if I did that, that's like the marketing is like, it's so overwhelming, and I felt it very overwhelming that I wasn't my best person. And when you're not your best person, how can you provide to your friends, your family, your job, like to yourself, when you're not being your best person? So it is a
Or if
balance
your mind
that we
is
have to
somewhere
maintain.
else, worrying about a website and people
Yes,
contacting
exactly.
you.
So like, let me ask any of you though, have any of you ever had an experience with anyone before that was medium or psychic that you go, oh my gosh, this happened to me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had
Yeah.
it at the senior center.
Wow.
We had a girl there that came in and did it at our craft fair. I'm telling you, Kathy will tell you, I
Yeah,
come
we
out of
both
there
came
in
out of
tears.
there. She was crying.
Awesome.
I mean, she
You might
pinned.
know her, Lisa Olette.
That's the psychic friend I was telling you about.
Okay.
Oh,
She's one of my
yeah.
besties.
Oh my God.
I'm not kidding you.
Yeah,
She's one of my
see?
So
besties.
yeah.
That's who it was.
I'm not kidding.
And,
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I love her.
never. I'll tell you, I have a coupon at home to have another reading with her that someone gave me
Oh,
for my
you should.
birthday.
I love
But you
her.
know something? The
Yeah.
reading she gave me,
Yeah.
I can't even talk,
Oh,
about my
just
husband.
me. It makes my eyes watery.
It was, I mean, things
Aw.
that he said, things that she said that nobody
That's
would
exactly it.
ever know,
That's right.
ever know.
Wow. See?
You know,
Bonnie.
and it was unbelievable. I'll never forget that. That always, it was.
and that's one of my best
and I never
friends, so see?
believed, and
Oh,
I
you-
really
You
never did.
before
No,
Oh my
I really never did. But I
gosh.
come out of there that day.
Oh
I
my gosh.
was falling apart.
Oh
I
my
mean, it was.
gosh, I know.
It was. It
and,
was.
and like I said, she's one of my best friends, and people ask me all the time, do you get read? I said, I have one person read me and one only. And I said, her name is Lisa Olette,
Yeah.
because we work very confidential, like we don't
Yeah.
share people's
Oh,
information and
Bonnie.
that stuff. And but with even like with me, I need her to be confidential because I'm kind of there, and I don't want people to know, oh, well, Lisa said this. She never shares your info, and she's remarkable. And I would go to her, and she comes to me. So you know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah,
But one of my best friends. So that is really funny.
Yeah, that is.
Isn't it?
That's
What a
something.
small
That
world.
just keeps.
I told you, it's that integration in the web,
Yes.
because we're all interconnected in
I
some
forget
way.
how I met her.
You know.
But when I did meet her, I asked her if she would come and do the craft fair, and I put her in
Yes.
another room.
Yes.
And she did. She came twice.
Oh, that's
Two
wonderful.
different
yes.
years.
And she's a wonderful woman, inside and out.
Oh, she's
and,
very
Because I
nice.
know her
Very
professionally, but I
nice.
know her personally.
Yep.
I just love her.
Yeah,
So she's
she is
wonderful.
very nice.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Isn't
Isn't I
that
love that you
something?
guys
Oh,
both
yeah.
had a good experience
Yes.
with her, because that matters, and reputation matters.
does,
you know,
right.
and I take that very like golden to me. It's like the reputation and how we go about doing it. So everything is done in a certain way. And it's funny because I just closed my office. I had an office in Epping. And what I ended up doing was I had an office in an old home that I lived in for 13 years, and then I had one in Epping for 3. And I do a lot of phone, FaceTime, and Skype. Well, I was like, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to offer, in-home visits to people instead and see what happens and go from there. Because every time I'm told to do something, I hear it. So that intuition works. And then I got a lot of backlash from clients going, well, then if I can't see you face to face, I'm not going to see it. I'm like, that's fine. Like I chalk it up, and I'm like, that's okay, because that's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And I always, if I lose one client, I gain 3. So it happens like that
Yeah.
all the time. But I'm just that person who listens to what I'm told, and I do it, and it's like, oh my gosh, this worked because I did what I was being told to do. So a lot of us, if you're being told to do something, and in your gut and in your spirit, and you don't do it, there's no one's to blame but yourself because you didn't take the jump. You know what I mean? So I've jumped several times in my career, and I'm so glad I did because it just brought me further and brought me further every time. Wonderful. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I'm still there for my kids.
Right.
Because we have 3 kids. We have a blended family, and they're going to be leaving soon. My daughter's going to be going to college in a year, and I said, you know what? I can still work from the home like I've been doing for the past 15 years, and be there for them because that's very important to me, and I still provide a great service. So that's where all that comes from. But the other thing with mediumship too is that people don't understand is spirit can come to you during the day, and spirit can come to you like in your dreams. So like, did you ever have someone visit your dreams that's passed away or anything like that, right?
Yes,
So do you know why that is? I'm going to explain it to you. So the conscious and the subconscious mind, very fickle characters. And what happens is someone like me who's a medium, the conscious mind, the subconscious mind are both open because I know how to maintain my mind. And what happens is if you're busy during the day and all of a sudden you go to sleep at night, well, your subconscious goes boom and opens up, and that's where you dream, that's where you fantasize, that's where you come up with your goals, and that's what that comes from. So spirit comes in through the subconscious. So that's where people who are not mediums get their family members, visit them in that dream, because now your subconscious is open because you're not really busy during the day. Because during the day, you guys are really busy and you're doing stuff and thinking about other stuff. So when you sleep, the subconscious and the mind kind of opens up, and dreamland comes, and they come and they do that. But when you wake up, you already start thinking, planning, getting ready, this, and all of a sudden it closes, and then you're going on with your day. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why that happens. So if you ever want them to visit you during the day, for you to get symbols or things like that during the day, you have to keep the mind open, and you have to keep it. And people go, "How do you do that?"
Because there's so many distractions.
Yes, you do, and you have to let things roll off your back and not let it bother you anymore. Like have that turtle shell, and because people like, "How do you do this even during the day?" Well, the minute I begin, I know nothing else matters but me and that person I'm talking to. So. It does, nothing matters until you're done that session. So when you're doing your work, sometimes do that. A big example is when you're sweeping the floor and doing dishes and making the bed. Guess what? Your mind is actually clear because you're doing a random act.
Right.
So it's very strange. And a lot of your family and your friends visit you in spirit when you're doing those random acts. Because you're open. So a lot of times you're like, oh, did I just hear something? I just thought I heard something. Because you were just doing a random action, your mind just kind of opened and it was able to receive it. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's very, very interesting. Yeah. So do you have any questions you guys want to ask too? It's very interesting.
It is.
I know.
I have so many questions.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
know.
gosh. Boy. So this is going to sound probably, but just like us sitting here now,
Yes.
would you sense someone?
I do when Bonnie was talking.
Yeah.
So, did both of your parents pass?
Both my parents
Yes,
and my
okay,
husband.
so
It
what's
was
the month
what-
of May for you? A birthday, anniversary, a death of members of the family? Or there's either 3 kids and 2 parents, or where's that number 5 with you guys?
I have 4 kids.
So, but did you lose one, or was there anything there? Because it's number 5. So your mom gives me 5, and I don't know if she passed away next to someone's birthday or like something that was very important, because every time you think about her passing, there's this right here, and you guys always think about it. So I don't know why she's saying that for.
Thanksgiving.
Thank
few
you.
days before
So see, so like I felt that,
Thanksgiving.
that's what she was telling me.
Yeah.
So she thinks like every time that her anniversary comes, you guys always think about this because it's close together, and she gave that to me. But number 5 is prevalent, or the month of May, so I don't know what that is for. And also like number 3, so they give me 3 kids, or like who's a 3rd child. So do you have all your siblings here? So I don't know why she'd be bringing that up for.
I have 4. I only have 2. Me and my sister.
Right, you and your sister. So
Yeah.
do you know there's a lost baby there somewhere? 'Cause
She
I
did.
keep
My
feeling-
mother did.
That's what I was
My
trying to
mother
say,
did
is a lost
lose
baby.
before us.
Okay, so there you go.
Yeah,
So
she
that's
had
where the 3 kids,
miscarriages.
there it
Yeah.
is, okay? So I always use those numbers to make sure I'm hearing them correctly, but that's what she was using as a confirmation, saying, and I said 3 kids, 2 parents, there was
Yeah.
number 5, which is all, you guys. And I don't know who had like I'm an asthmatic, so like I can feel like oxygen issues or like, things like that, right?
Wow. Oh my
So
goodness.
Yeah.
there, okay? So that's when we were talking, so we were connecting and that's what ended up happening. So what happens is when I connect with you, I actually go with you for a few seconds and that's why if you see me look down or I look away, I'm processing what I just got. So people like, oh my God, it's so rude, she just looked away. No, I'm actually processing. So I think about it, so I leave you for a few minutes or I leave them for a few minutes, I'm just talking to you and I'm processing what they're showing me. Because I can separate it, or how compartmentalize, is that
Yes,
word is?
compartmentalize,
And I'm able to do that so quickly like that, so, and then I was talking to your mom, like, I'll get to it, so she's so funny. But Christmas is very important to her. So you guys have to know, like, the Christmas holiday, New Year's, like that time of year. So what changed after she left you?
During the holidays, did anything change?
No, my husband passed away 3 days before Christmas.
Thank you, because that's why she was showing me something changed between Christmas and New Year's. There it is. Do you see what I'm saying? So the way that she was showing me is so humble, meaning like she doesn't want you to hurt. So she gives it to me like that, like she's stretching it just a little bit, like you'll get it. So I'm glad that you were asking her, because that's what your mom was showing me. She doesn't want you to hurt because of that. And what she just did was she's bringing him in. So if you notice the pattern, it's like a train or caboose, and then she brings, your mom brings in your husband, okay? And in that little caboose, there he is, and she's kind of like, okay, so in between Christmas and New Year's, what happened? He died 3 days before Christmas. Wow. So see what I'm saying? So she's your captain, and that captain is always bringing in other people, and that's what she's doing. She's bringing other people for you. So the husband's coming through too. You know how we do 25 years, 35 years, 45 years of celebration for an anniversary? He's doing that. So I don't know if you guys had like a big celebration, or like, did he pass right before that big year was supposed to happen? Because he shows me the wreath. You know how they show wreaths of anniversaries? And he shows that to me.
No, we were married, I think, like 33 years.
So
when
it's
he
still big.
passed. It's
Yeah.
50, it would be 54 now.
Okay, so he's
Just something
acknowledging
of
a
that
big
sort.
anniversary,
Yeah.
and that's like loving you. Do you know what I mean? So even if he's there, emotion doesn't go away. The emotion's still alive
Yeah.
there. So by him showing it, he's acknowledging you guys still have that big anniversary, and that's what he's showing, okay? So do you like cruises, or like do you like to go on cruises or anything?
No, but that's
No, but
my
she's
bucket
been-
list.
She's been telling me she wants to go on a cruise.
Yay! So
my
see,
bucket
because he
list.
wants you to do that. So like,
Bonnie.
days go by, lady, and we
I
can't be
know.
like fidgeting.
That's
You know what I
funny.
mean? So
Yeah.
yeah. So
You've been talking
maybe
about
Kathy will go with you.
On
So
my
do you
bucket
know? So it's
Yeah.
how cool is that? So and then that's just him like saying, go. Like, what are
Yeah.
you waiting for? And it's almost like when we shove our kids out the door. Like
Yeah.
he wants you to do that. It's too short for you
Yeah.
not to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't know if you ever had like a brown suit, like a white shirt with a brown jacket, but I keep seeing him wearing that.
Does he have a brown jacket on in that one picture? There's a picture of you and him standing together. I want to say, was there plaid or something?
It was beige.
Oh.
Yeah, for Valerie's wedding.
I felt it was like
Yeah.
a brown jacket, but
Brown
beige.
jacket,
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
So,
No.
and so he shows me that this is what he's wearing, okay? So I don't know whose wedding that you guys are just talking about, but that's how I see him as. And there's an American flag with him, so I don't know if like,
He was in-
thank
he
you.
was a- he
I have
was a
goosebumps.
veteran.
Yay. So see, I have
wow.
goosebumps.
Yeah, I have that on my
Yay.
bureau.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so what a
my
great
gosh.
confirmation. So that's what he was talking about. So I asked him to confirm what she was saying with the color of the jacket, and that's what he was bringing up. So if you notice, he's remembering things that he hasn't forgotten, that emotions behind it, and he's trying to tell you, look I still remember. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like if you
That's
say to him, do you remember that? Do you remember this? He does remember it, So, and who's John, or where does the name John come from?
Nobody would.
Who is it?
join.
One of you guys?
Yeah, my husband, John.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so hi.
But he's alive.
Yeah, but he's alive. But did his dad pass?
Yes.
Thank you, because that's where I felt,
And it's
So
good-
thank you, anyways.
you.
So, yeah.
That's
So,
wow.
yeah,
yes,
okay,
and
so-
John's been mentioning that a lot lately. 'Cause it's just a few days, and
oh
there's a
my
lot going on. And
gosh.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but I got to tell you something though. Is like, it's No one likes passing or death. Nobody does, okay? So you have to know that, you know, and I know that his dad is just, he's such a very energetic person to me that he doesn't want to stop. I keep feeling, you know, the
would describe him well.
Energizer Bunny
Yeah,
commercials,
yep.
and I keep feeling that's how his energy is, and I love that because he's not going to sit here like on a lounge chair and like twiddle thumbs, and
Yeah,
like he's
yeah.
very busy. So like if your husband or you ever wonder what he's doing, he's a very busy spirit, and so. You know, it's really neat. So I don't know, he was bringing up something of you guys, either did you rebuild a deck or did you add on to a deck or like something outdoorsy? I don't know why he's bringing that up for.
He was probably alive still when we were doing things
Okay,
like that.
so yeah,
That
like
could be,
rebuilding or
yeah, yeah.
redoing a deck is kind of what I
Yes.
felt. So, and that brings up like a patio, do you know what I
Yes,
mean? So like
yeah.
he keeps bringing that up to me. That's his favorite place to kind of hang out is
And that's
outdoors.
what John would like to do in
Thank
our,
you.
in
Yeah,
the
you know,
patio,
so
like
yay.
John would like to.
Great.
You know, where
So
I'm a
do
little-
it.
yeah, isn't that interesting?
Yeah. So you
That's
know,
funny.
and that's where you know, Spirit is funny because they have particular places they like to hang.
Yeah.
And I feel like his dad like wants to hang out outside. And if you do the
Wow.
patio, look at it's going to be a great place for him to go.
That's
Okay.
very nice.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
Very
know.
interesting.
And he shows me like Maine. You know, like the lighthouses in Maine. So like, what's that to his dad or
that
what?
was, they used to go to vacation in Maine all the time.
Perfect,
And
yes.
like up around the beach in China Lake.
I have
and
goosebumps.
yeah, isn't
Yeah,
that
it
something?
is.
Happy memories. yeah.
Wow. So
And
that's
yeah.
wonderful. It
Isn't that
is.
something?
I know.
And it's like John has mentioned a few times now in the last things we've had going on, the anniversary of my dad's
Oh
death
my
coming up, yeah, in a
gosh.
few
So
days.
see,
yeah,
wow.
So it's,
Oh, you just bring up such a great fact. So Spirit doesn't know 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. They know it when we look at the calendar. So like say if you go, oh, okay, so-and-so's anniversary is coming or this birthday is coming, that's how Spirit knows because they don't have time. You know what I mean? Like we have time. We know like we have time. And that's kind of what happens. So his dad will hear your
Hear
husband
John-
say
because
it.
He has been saying it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and no, you know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, so in 3 days, 3 sleeps, then I know this is
Right.
coming, you know? So
Yeah.
that's kind of how they work. That's why sometimes Spirit visits a lot during nighttime. They can clearly see you sleeping, and they will still go and like, doo-doo, like talk to you whenever. And I'm like, okay, it's 1 o'clock. You know what I mean? So like, and you see her sleeping. So, and that's, you know, because that's happened to me before where they just come and it's like, okay, but you see us sleeping, so not right now. You know what I mean? So it's like, so it is really, really funny.
though.
So and that's probably what his dad was
It could-
doing
yes,
too.
it could be.
There's a female though with him. So is your mom physically here or did
No,
she
passed
pass? Thank
also,
you. What's
yeah.
August for you guys?
Birthdays.
Thank you. Okay,
Yeah.
so like the female, like I said, so
Yeah.
the captain of your ship
Right,
is
truly,
John's
yeah.
dad, and he's
Yeah.
bringing in other people.
Yeah.
So your mom's coming through too, but both of her parents are by her side. So I know it's really nice, and it's funny because you know when we talk about family reunion, I feel like that's what they're doing is they had a family reunion once she joined, if you call it heaven. That's
Right,
what
yeah.
I feel. So they kind of like had this open arm like family reunion when she came because she wasn't sure who was going to be there for her.
Yeah,
you know what I
it's
mean?
true, right.
So yeah, so and then all of a sudden here's a family reunion and that's like happy for her because she didn't know who was even going to be there.
When
Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
So yeah.
She struggled with that, I
Oh
think, too.
my
Yeah,
gosh!
yeah,
So look at that.
absolutely,
And
yeah.
you know, I'm a huge fan. I mean, you know, like when in the 40s and 50s, have beautiful pictures, and my God, the lipstick and the hair and like all that. That's how I see your mom. So I don't know if you have any pictures when she was kind of sitting like this, and there's like a side view of
I
her.
do. It's
That's
funny,
what you just
yeah.
showed me, and she's
Yeah.
so proud of what she looked like.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
would-
So
kind of funny. I bet you,
yeah.
yeah, that describes
Okay,
so
good.
well.
Yeah. So,
know?
and that's kind of like how I see her as, and she's got that confidence again. So she lost confidence towards the end. She's got it back. Do you know what I mean? So I know that's really wonderful.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Can I read you? So I might even go like in the booth over there. So, and it's interesting because when I was looking at you, I felt yellow and gold, which is very intuitive. So I felt like you were also intuitive yourself. And there's a lot of past life stuff that keeps popping up with you, and it's so interesting to me. I love it. I just got to talk to you privately about that. Okay. Yeah, I know it's really great. What do you have for California or like out west in California?
My son lives out there with
Okay.
his future wife.
Awesome. So it's so interesting because when I went to talk to you and I was shaking your hand, I really held it tight for a second. and I felt Indian stuff or like feathers, and I felt like, you know, like those dream catchers.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, do you have any at the house, or like nothing like that?
I
Okay.
don't. My daughter might. I don't. have
Okay,
anything.
so if you want to confirm that with her later, but I felt that when I shook your hand. So past life stuff can be like something in the past life that you don't even know you had. Do you know what I mean? So like, it's really interesting. So yeah, I know. That's what I felt right away when I shook your hand. And it's so interesting because you're meant to do things and tell your story, lady, and you haven't, and you're kind of like keeping it under the bubble. So very interesting.
talk, I guess.
That's why I said privately I can talk to you about stuff, and it's so great. So did your dad pass, if you don't mind me asking?
No.
Okay, so he's still here. So there's still a father figure coming through for you, so I still have to go with him if you don't mind. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. What's month of November for you guys? A birthday, anniversary, or death of members of the family? If it's not
It's-
11, it's 2, the month of February. A birthday, anniversary, death of members of the family.
Death in February. We've had my father-in-law
Okay.
and my brother-in-law.
So that's why I said a father figure. I still have to go with him, okay? And it's so interesting because it's almost like he lost track of time. Like he didn't know that his time was coming to that end and had so much more to say, and he wasn't able to say it, and he feels very confined that he wasn't able to say things to you guys. So if that makes any sense to you, he wishes that he was able to say things and finish it, or like, you know, when we finish a chapter, we close a chapter, he wishes he could have done that and he wasn't able to do it with the kids. So that's what he wanted me to tell you. And what I find very interesting is he gave you a thumbs up because apparently you're doing so much that he's like, he never knew how much you did or what you've done.
I wish I take care of his son.
And now in spirit, right, he sees it. So look at that, right? So he's what's that called? Like he's giving you praise for
Accolades.
everything you've done.
Accolades, yeah.
Right. Do you know what I mean? That's I'm trying to find the right word.
He's
And
saying,
telling
wow,
you
I had no idea.
he had
you
no
know?
idea like
pretty
how much
neat.
you've done until like after he sees it in spirit. So wow. Do you know what I mean? So that's a compliment to you. That's what he wanted me to tell you too. And so who is getting married in California?
My son.
Okay, so it's so interesting because I do feel you out in the sun, but it's like, are you ever going to go there? Are you ever going to go to Arizona? Like, what are you going to do?
Arizona, I don't plan to go
Yeah.
there. But no, going to California in April and May.
Okay,
Yes,
so
the
Back
wedding is
not too
coming
long
up.
ago.
yeah,
And we
you know,
were there a few times last year.
okay, so what they're telling me though is like you may just go and like not come back sometime, even though you think this is your home. So interesting.
Carolina.
Yeah, North
That's
Carolina.
North
fine.
Carolina.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
fine.
so it is a little bit warmer climate, but I feel you in the sun, and that's going to be really great for you. So just, you know, look at that, but there's a 2-year effect to it when I feel like it's 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years. So like we just can't like up and jump. We have to plan it. So like in that couple
That's it.
years time, that's going to happen. You know what I
That's
mean?
it.
So, and it's okay. She deserves it, you know, and
That's
like
what
to
it
do your
is.
thing.
We are in the planning stages of that
Wow.
now.
You really
So-
have you've mentioned that.
Yeah.
when we first
Oh,
on
no
that.
way.
Yes, yeah.
So see, and that's when I give you guys numbers, like almost like a psychic for future. It's 2 weeks, 2 months, and then 2 years. So you'll notice, oh, something happened in 2 weeks, and in 2 months something happens, in 2 years, boom, there it is. You know what I mean? So, and listen to that little bit of intuition because you have that as well, that gold and yellow color that I saw with it.
I do, and
Yeah.
I've. It's happened a lot of times where you feel like, you know what? No, it's. You got to go with that gut feeling.
Yes, you do. That's a little intuition, but that's your spirit guides kind of knocking on your door.
I wish
to
I
do
could
that
be more
too.
receptive to that type of stuff.
So clear the mind then.
Yes,
To clear the
right.
subconscious and the conscious mind and experience joy throughout the day. Laughing is wonderful. You know what I mean? Like so, and something that makes you happy. Sometimes,
view shows.
Yeah, more view shows, or like you know, yeah,
We
exactly.
need to do more shows.
Yes, or like watch funny videos on YouTube. So joy and laughter brings so much to us that it actually does clear up the mind. So you know what I mean? Or hug when
right.
someone hugs you, don't you feel better?
Yeah.
So it's like all those things matter, and it's discipline matters. You know, we have to have discipline in our lives too, and consistency in our lives,
Routine.
and routine,
Yeah.
and that's what keeps things balanced. And I'm telling you, you're going to be able to see it, and you're going to be able to feel it and know it, and you know, it's just
When the
really,
time
really
is
awesome.
right.
Yeah, it's when the time is right. I
Yeah.
know. So, is there questions I can help you guys with?
I have
or
a
anything?
question.
Yeah.
Do you do anything with pets that have
I
passed?
do. So a lot. So because they still come in spirit. So if anyone ever goes on my business Facebook page, I just posted last week, we had guinea pigs who passed away, and I can see them. I can physically see them in spirit. So I caught it, and I take pictures, and I post it on Facebook. So yes, they still come in spirit. I read people's animals that are physically here, and I also do readings for people who've lost pets. Yes, because it's still spirit. Do you know what I mean? And the pets, you got to understand, they have their own personality. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, so they still do, and it's really interesting because we have 5 pets. We call it the zoo, and all of them, I can talk to them like from a distance. And all of a sudden they look at me because they know I just said something to them. So pets are very intuitive. And my husband is like, he's like, I can't believe that they do that.
Yeah.
And I'll go, watch this, and I'll say something to our dog Cass, and all of a sudden she goes and she looks up because she knew I just said something to her. So talk to your pets. You don't have to do it like with your mouth. You can do it with your mind, and they'll actually hear you and like show response. It's really interesting.
That's
yeah. So, and did you ever hear someone going, oh, I was so upset last night. My cat laid with me all night, because they know you're upset. They feel it. So they're going to lie next to you or want to be next to you and try to fix the problem.
That's funny because my kids, when they were little, we had a cat.
Yes.
And whoever was sick, the cat was on their bed.
Oh my goodness.
That's
there.
like, remember
Yeah.
that story about the nursing home and the cat would lay on the person's bed and that person
Yeah.
would die?
Oh
So
my
like everybody, nobody wanted the
gosh.
cat to
Oh
walk in
my
the room.
gosh, so funny.
But
Oh
they said
my
this
gosh.
cat always would go to, and that person would pass away very soon.
Wow. And
It's
see,
like-
it's almost like a helper to cross
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah. And that is, it's so interesting because I always owned a cat ever since I was, very, very, very young. I've always wanted a cat near me. And I was told that cats are protectors of negative energy. They help you. So I always made sure I've had a kitty. And I've always chosen my kitty, or, like how it came to me, I've always trusted. And now I have another kitty. I've had her now. She'll be 8 in July. And she does her job. You know what I mean? So it's like she does exactly what she's supposed to do. And I thank them for their time when their time with me is over. It's just amazing. It's absolutely amazing that kitties, are supposed to do that, and they do their jobs. And yeah, it's really, really, really awesome. I love that. So, but it's interesting because if you ever see my business Facebook, I did put pictures on of spirits that I saw at Sandown Town Meeting House, and I can physically see them. So I took the picture, and I took another picture right afterwards. And as I was taking the photos, there was 15 other people there, and I was telling them that I said, oh, there's 2 children, ages like 6 and 5, and their mother's right there, and I got it. I took the picture, and you can see the forms. So, you know what I mean? So it's something that it's like, as terms of controlling it, it's like I don't want to control it sometime, because I still look back and go, I can't believe I do this. I can't believe I just saw that. Like, so I still get really freaked out sometime. And you know what I mean? And at the same time, like, this is really neat. This is so cool.
It is. It's very
Yeah,
interesting.
thank you.
There used to be a woman that was a medium, and she would. Do you remember Monty Hall?
Of course, yeah.
What was
Yeah.
her, do you remember her name?
I don't remember her
The
name.
lady that passed away.
Yeah.
Oh,
my
Sylvia
God.
Brown?
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes,
Oh
yes.
my God.
Yes, I do
was
remember.
I had put in, it was really funny because she had a 2-year wait for a phone thing.
Yes.
And
right.
I had put in for a phone consultation with
Oh
her.
my
But she
gosh.
passed before the 2
did,
years. But
yes.
somebody that was working with her, I think his name was David, he said, he could do it when he called, but it was her that I really,
Oh my
wanted.
gosh,
Yeah, I had put
yes,
it in.
Yes,
Yeah, isn't that something?
I've watched many interviews with her, and it's or John Edwards, whom I love. He and I
Yeah.
work very similar, and I really enjoy listening to what they go through too, because when I realized it and watching videos or watching shows that they were on, I'm like, oh my gosh, I say that. I said, like, so it's like where I finally got that okay, that everything I was doing was okay.
Yeah.
And someone else was going through the same thing I was going through, it actually gave me a sense of relief. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, now this makes sense to me. When before I had no one to turn to. I couldn't talk to anybody but what I was
Right.
going through.
Right.
So, and that goes into like paranormal sense, because it is somewhat a little bit of the paranormal. You have to have an open mind about things you can't see or that you can see, and trying to explain it in a physical scientific way for people to understand that this really exists.
Yeah.
And that's where I felt like the responsibility of having to prove it, like proving that this exists is such a difficult thing, but a big responsibility that certain people take on. Lisa Olette, myself, Sylvia Brown,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So, and it's
Yeah.
fantastic that we do that. And it's something that, we can choose to do it, and there's other times when we can't choose to do it in terms of paranormal and these events of if something really bad is happening. It's funny, I used to work with a paranormal group, and they would always send me in the houses first before anybody else. And I kid you not, here I am, the little one, and they're sending me when I worked with 5 men, and they'd send the girl in the house to make sure the house was clean before we did an investigation to it. And it was so funny because I'd be doing my job, and I talked to whoever was in there, and I'm like, okay, guys, it's all set to come in. Hilarious, because, and we, have so much documentation that I would literally guide or direct them to a certain something, and we catch it. It's like unbelievable. So, in the future, I'm hoping to do things like that again. I've taken some time off to move and get married and all that. Of doing that and showing people that the paranormal does exist. They do speak to regular humans through devices that I work with them, into doing that, and you can see all of this proof, and it's phenomenal because you get believers to believe, and you get people to go, oh my gosh, I never knew this was here. Do you know what I mean? It's just fascinating to me, and it doesn't always have to be negative or evil, or you know what I mean. It can be loving and just wonderful. And do we have control over what they say? We do not. I don't have control of what anyone said during tonight's show, and I say whatever that they're showing, and I never know where it's going. They might bring up a rooster, and I have no idea why. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, but you guys might know. I have no idea why. Like I brought up California, I don't know why. I just felt that that's what they were showing. So we don't have control of it. But I will tell this to you. You can have me with 4 other psychics or mediums in the same room, and your family and spirit can come in. And they will only choose 1 or 2 of the people out of the 5 to talk to or to show something to, because they're picky. And they're not just going to give that information to a certain person. So when you have what you guys received from Lisa, which was a great experience. They chose her to be able to do that for you. But if they felt like she wasn't a good candidate, they probably wouldn't have done it. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I've learned.
Just the way we are in everyday life.
Absolutely.
That's
They're very
interesting.
picky about stuff like that. And it is true, because I am a very busy person with 3 kids. They all have different schedules and whatnot. If I can't get to someone in spirit, because I can't possibly talk to people 24 hours a day living in the dead, my daughter will go, Mom, you need to talk to Miss Sue's husband because he came to see me last night and says you're ignoring him. I said, Chelsea, I'll get to it. Like I said, you know what I mean? So it's like, but it's so funny because my kids have it, and so I taught them on how to respect it and how to go about doing it the right way. And so sometimes if I'm really busy, they'll tell me something, and I'm like, okay. And then when we're in public, and if I'm, doing my thing, and Chelsea will look at me, and I look at her because we know someone's doing something. She'll look at me, and I'll go like this to her, and she'll know it's okay for her to say something. So you know what I mean? So we have to, we protect it, and we nurture it, and we respect it. And I think that's also what has gained that notoriety, is having that huge respect for the ones who've passed, and it's amazing. And that works, I worked on cold cases, and I worked on missing people cases, missing pet cases. I've done several. And it's amazing to me. The hard part about working with cold cases is if someone comes through in spirit, they're not coming home. So, do you know what I mean? So that's the worst part about that. And then if you know that there is no spirit coming through when I work in those sessions, it's a good thing, and then we can help try to find them.
that person.
And I worked on a case a couple years back, and my friend Bob's amazing. He's the one I did paranormal stuff with as well. And there was a missing autistic child, and he had called me because he had asked the state trooper, do you mind if I call my friend because she does a lot of this stuff, blah, blah, blah. He's like, sure, but I'm really not into that, but you can do whatever you feel is necessary to help us try to find this kid. So I gave Bob the information over the phone. I think I was traveling too. I think I was away. And I gave it to him over the phone, and they found the kid.
Oh, wow.
So it's literally in the news. So I love that.
Yeah.
And Bob, whenever we do speaking engagements, he'll say that story because he's
Yeah.
like, I can't believe it. So now he's, you know, a state trooper going, I don't really believe in this, but if you feel it's going to help try to find this kid, go ahead and do
go
it.
for
And
it.
they found him. So thank you. You know what I mean? So it's like, that means though, it's such a good thing. It's such an amazing thing to be able to do.
that really
So it's not just helping someone with their love life because people come
must
to you
get a
just
lot of
for
that, do
present.
you?
We
Yes.
do. And you know what? And it's that's also difficult too because I feel their pain and I feel their frustration. However, when we give you information, regardless if it's a psychic or a medium or an intuitive, you have to take the information and do some work with it. We just
Right.
can't, you know, hold your hand when you walk out the door.
Right.
They have to go and do this yourself. And we can try to help you with it. But in 6 months, if this person doesn't come or you didn't do the work that you needed to do, that has nothing to do with wherever you just got a reading from. You know what I mean? So it's like you have to do the work that goes along with it and also cut some cords
Right.
and just do some homework. And, you know, there's work that
Yeah.
has to be done with that. And we do our best to try to get you that person. We really do. And it's funny because I count my record of how, like, when I find people, help people find their soulmate. And I had 8 specific people that I was working with, and I'm only waiting for one more to get his love. So out of the 8 that I had, and I keep telling, he's one of my very close friends, I'm like, look it, this is what we have to do. We got to do this. And I'm just like, you know, because I know his person's there, but you have to do this. And it's so funny because
my gosh.
out of 8, I have 1 left that has yet to find the person. So we're getting there.
That's
I know.
That's
You know what I mean?
pretty-
I
that is
know. Thank
something.
you very much.
Wow.
Who needs a dating service? Like, go see a medium. Like, isn't that so funny? I know.
go.
So
Right.
yeah,
That's pretty
and you know, it's something that I don't take lightly because people. There are times when it's hard for me. You know, I have people who passed away in my life, and I see them. And it's bittersweet for everybody. So I think during this kind of work, you have to have compassion and you have to have love for it or love for that individual, even if you know them or not. You have to have something there that makes you want to help and it makes you want to have that connection with
Well,
them.
it's
you
funny,
know?
too,
Yeah.
Debbie, as you're talking, so I'm thinking of other things, but, you know, what else can we ask them?
Right.
And I was thinking to myself, and then you said it, I was just about
Wow.
to say, well, what about with you, like with the
Yeah.
people that you love that have passed, and how do, and then all of a sudden you started talking about
Yes,
it, and it was
yeah,
kind of funny,
it
you
is
know?
really interesting. I
Yeah.
know, so,
You know, you
so
just
yeah,
kinda like, well,
it's
that's,
so
you know.
interesting because it's, you know, we have important people that pass away as well that change our lives forever, just like it does with everybody else. And it's not an easy concept, you know, because I can live in both worlds. I live here, but I feel like I live in the other world as well. It's such a gift for me to do it, and other times it's like it eats my heart. So, do you know what I mean? Because I know that one day I'm not going to be here, or one day my parents may not be here. So, like, I think about that all the time. So it's bittersweet for me.
right.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So, and to be able to see that, it's hard for other people to not feel that envy because I can talk or communicate with them. And at the same time, they don't understand how devastating that is for me too, because I just lost that person. Do you know what I mean? So it's like it's a double-edged sword, I want to say. Yeah, very interesting though. And you know, there's a lot that I put on Facebook to help people understand how this process works and like coming from a different point of view. And one of the things is I don't read anyone under the age of 18. And you know, because they have to come through like mature and know what it is exactly that you're doing. I have so many requests of, you know, unfortunately children who are losing parents at such a young age. I feel like there's no way we can help them at this time. When you're over 18, let's redo it and let's see what happens. So like there's so many hard decisions that you need to make when it comes to this kind of work. And it doesn't come easy, and we do get backlash for it, and we do get cynics, and we do get, you know, like people who don't believe, and abuse of, you know, and it's like you just have to let it roll off your back, because if you let it get to you like any kind of bullying, it's hurtful, you know. So yes, and like with anything, I
Yeah.
agree. With anything, it's like
You
that
know,
too.
one more question I
Yes.
just thought of. So, Debbie, when you say to read someone,
Yes.
so I've been to someone where they've used cards,
Yes.
or they've
Yep.
used even tea at one point, which was pretty.
Yes.
But so when
Love
you
that.
read someone, is it like we're just sitting talking? Is that how
Yeah.
you read? So it's
So
just
it's like-
one on. You
like
don't
a
have
therapy
cards
session.
or any of the. Yeah. That's
so
just
I will
wondering.
be honest with you, if anyone ever reads this, I'll be honest, because I started, my mom doesn't even know this, and she's going to watch the show. I bought my own cards. I think I was like 13 years old, because I knew I could do what I could do, but I didn't know how to do it in a way that was, like I said, balanced and like in order. So I figured, okay, I'll buy a set of cards. This is going to help me out, blah, blah, blah. And I realized when I was doing the cards, I'm like, oh, I can do this. But then I realized if I had stones, oh, I can do that. And I can read tea, and I can do this. So like, yes, I've done that. And you know, some people come to me and go, I want cards. I go, great. I take out my cards, and I just do cards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Whatever they want.
Whatever they want. But typically,
It's
it's
the
like a
one.
therapist office, which I love
Right.
that feel. It's very comfortable, just right across from me, in nice, comfortable chairs. And it's
Right. That's
such a
nice.
comfortable, you know, thing to do. And again, I've always done it that way, whether it was across the table or sitting on sofas. It's always done that way. If I do groups, because I do a lot of groups, I'm standing where everyone's kind of sitting in a living room atmosphere, but I stand the whole time, just like you would go to an auditorium. So I've done auditoriums, I've done large venues like that. And the difference between myself and other people is I'll do a couple of sessions. So like I'll do an hour-and-a-half session, take a small break, do another hour-and-a-half session. And I max it to 20 to 25 people. And the reason why I do that is because everyone who comes in, you're right, it's a
Right,
lot.
that
Thank
is
you
a
for
lot.
saying that. I read every single person. And
Wow.
usually when people go and they pay that ticket price, they read literally 5 or 6
Yes.
people.
Yeah, if you're
So
definitely.
I read every single person. And even if I go over my hour-and-a-half time, I still continue and I still do it. And then I'm sick for a week. So,
I
you know,
bet
because
it's
I do
gotta
2
be
sessions.
draining.
It is,
Yeah.
it is. So, and I, you know, one time I had voiced that on my Facebook. So I'm like, you guys don't understand. You know, I've done my homework, and I've gone to other psychics and mediums who have done exactly what I've done, who didn't even offer what I've offered. And I don't understand that. You know, like they read 6 people in 2 hours, and I'm doing 20 to 25 and having a great experience. And it's like they still want more from me, and it's very hard. So then I pull back a little bit. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna wait. We're gonna pull back. I'm gonna rest, and I'm gonna come back. So like I rested for a year, didn't do any groups for a year. Now I'm getting back into it again. So you know what I mean? So yeah. So I realize that like what I have to do for myself, and my spirit guides tell me what I need to do.
Right.
And I listen to them, and it works. You know. So people just gotta listen to that little voice there.
Yeah.
They're talking to you. Husband's talking to you. You know what I mean? Like go on the cruise and you know do those things. He's really wants you to do that. He keeps showing me wind chimes too. I keep hearing wind chimes. You know, like the ones that hang outside the house. So do you have any wind chimes
Yeah.
or anything like that?
Yeah, I
Because I
have
hear
one
them in
of-
my head.
Actually, I have one that hangs all year. It's Whispers from Heaven.
Perfect. There we go. So see, and I just
Yeah.
I keep hearing it in my head. There it is. So that's what he wants you to hear. You know what I mean? Like get
Yeah.
that from him. So like, do you leave it up even in the winter, or you
Yeah,
don't?
I
Okay.
leave it up all year.
I don't want you taking it down because that's him like talking to you through that symbolism because I heard it. You know, so wonderful. That's great. And did you keep his belts?
Tell her what you kept. Tell her what you kept.
I don't know.
My husband lost his leg,
Oh, okay.
and I have his leg
She has the prosthetic
Oh my
leg.
gosh.
right in
There's
my.
nothing wrong with that.
My kids think I'm nuts.
I know.
but
I said, why don't you make a
No.
planter out of it?
I know we buried him,
Yeah.
with his good, because he had two.
Right.
But I love. I mean, he's been gone 17 years. I still have the leg.
Wow.
I moved twice,
Wow.
and I still
You
the
still
leg
have it.
comes with.
You know what though? There's nothing
That was
wrong with
true
that.
love.
It is
True
true love.
love. It
And
really
you know,
is.
it's funny because we're almost taught as a society to get rid of our loved ones' things right away, or
yeah.
give it away, or give this. And you know what? Why? You know what I mean? I don't understand
I
why
have-
we have to move so fast.
Right.
Right.
Because remember, spirit also grieves when they pass away. You think they're going to be sitting there skipping and jumping and doing cartwheels?
Right.
No, they see what we're going through. They're going to miss being here. And can you imagine them seeing their stuff being tossed in a bag and being brought to a store? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so it's like, I've always said that,
I-
you know, it's okay for you to do a place setting around the holidays. That's okay.
Yeah.
You know, to say like, that's for that person. When we got married, what Tim and I did was we brought pictures of people in our family that passed away that couldn't be with us, and we put them on the tables at our lunch.
Yeah, see, that's a
You
nice
know why?
thing.
Yes, you know, so.
I have my
nice
hope
thing.
chest.
Oh,
And I have all his stuff in my hope
nice.
chest. I have hats and
Wow.
certain clothes.
Yes,
And
yes.
you asked
I'm
about
goosebumps.
belts.
Belts,
Yeah,
there's
and
belts,
Yeah.
yeah.
So did you keep his belts?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're
Oh,
in the
wow.
hope chest.
So that's
yeah, I
wonderful.
have the hope chest. Someone told me to do that one time
Oh my
because
gosh.
I couldn't throw everything out. So they said take all his favorite things
Oh, see?
and
Is
put
that
them in a hope
wonderful?
chest.
I know, that's
And
wonderful.
then you got them.
Wow.
When you want to look at them, they're there.
Wow.
When you don't
That's
want
right,
to see
that's
them,
right.
they're not hanging all around the house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a wonderful thing. And I know this sounds weird, but you know the smell of Brute or like Old Spice cologne? Who wore that? Anyone at this table's
Oh, yeah,
dad
that-
or person
yeah,
or
well,
like
would've
who
been-
wore that?
Yeah, my dad
Aftershave?
always had it. In his-
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, like
And-
aftershave, like, because
Yeah.
isn't that Brute or Old Spice
It's
like
Old
Yeah,
aftershave?
Spice.
yes,
Okay.
it's
And
Yeah.
funny, John wears it too. Like,
Oh,
well,
my
well, he wears like
gosh.
the body wash, but my father always used the
Okay,
cologne.
so, and
Isn't
so,
that funny?
yes,
That's weird
it
that she
is.
says that because there was
Yeah.
one day I was doing laundry, and all of a sudden, out of the clear blue, I smelled my grandfather's aftershave.
Oh, my
I
gosh.
think it was Aqua Velva.
Oh, yes, I do
and,
remember
yeah.
that.
and he had
bottle
been
with the-
gone many, many years. And I'm standing in the bathroom, I'm going, Pop, are you here? Pop, are you here? You know, of course, I didn't get a response, but
Right.
it came, and I
So
smelled
strong.
it, and then it went.
See, and you were
does.
doing what? Laundry, a random act. So you were doing something that opened up that subconscious, and you were able to recognize something that he was sending out to you, and you
Yeah.
got it. So see, that's great.
Yeah. That is
Yes, and that's
amazing.
mediums is taste, touch, smell, hearing. You know, feeling, sensations, like that's what and we see things like on a movie screen, we can hear them. So we have many different
Yeah, that's
things that we
amazing.
use, right, for for being a medium. That's why medium stands out a little bit more than a psychic because we have all the sensory is open, you know. So yeah, and past life stuff too. It's like unbelievable. I love the past life stuff, and I've done it so much. I've taught it in classes because I get to go to places in my mind that people can't see. You know, I can visit King Henry VIII's time, and I can, you know, as weird as it sounds, you know, visited things with Janis Joplin, and I've been able to do that. And I said, how special is that for me to do that? You know, and see that this architecture that people have to travel to see. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So yeah, because the way that it is like I leave you for a few seconds, then I come back. My mom said something so important. She came to one of my events. We had about 100, maybe 120 people there. And she said to me, Debbie, she said, your whole face changes when I see you do your job, you know? And so this is a woman who's given birth to me, right? And she says, everything changes, your mannerisms, your face, just like, it's like you're a whole different person. And I thought that was very interesting because when I go back and I'll review things, I look at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, my eyes do change.
Isn't
This
that
changes, that changes, because I'm realizing I'm leaving you for a few seconds and I'm coming back. So if you realize whatever you use your imagination, if you remember a time with your husband, remember a time with father-in-law or your son, anything, that memory is kind of like what I have, but it opens up so much to where I can experience the air and the smell of the bread, or I can do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, because I allow myself to get there. Do you know what I'm saying? So like when you have a memory about something, allow yourself to get there.
Wow.
So that's the best thing I can tell you to do. Don't stop it. Let it continue to happen. And sometimes we're taught as human to not go there because it hurts, and we don't want to go there because it hurts.
Switch
Do you-
the memory,
right?
switch the
yeah.
thought,
Yes.
move on,
Yes.
yeah.
Exactly. So you know what I mean. So instead, go with it. And what's Florida for you?
Actually, again, my husband John and I have been talking about, like, going just somewhere, like we just need
Oh,
some time.
yes, yes,
some,
yes,
some
yes.
Just whether it's a few days or so.
Oh,
We've been
my
talking a lot
gosh.
about it.
Oh, that's so
yeah.
funny.
That is
So
really
do you
strange.
guys usually stay here for the holidays, like meaning like Thanksgiving, or do you typically travel?
Well,
or
that's kind of funny too, because the last couple of years, just before Christmas,
Yeah.
the four of us, or sometimes five, we'll go to Disney. But we're home for Christmas. But it's been like a new little tradition that we'll go for.
There you
yeah,
go.
just to Florida
See?
for
and I've only met her
yeah.
once, and it was
Yes,
business, so
Yeah,
it's
isn't
like
that
it
funny?
is
Yes,
funny.
it
Yeah.
is.
So that's what I was getting from this
Isn't
side.
it?
So your
Yeah.
mom's mom keeps chiming in to me. So I don't know like where she was when you guys were little, or
Isn't
like
that-
her life there, because she still integrates herself into your life, which I find
Isn't
very
that
interesting. You're a
interesting?
grown woman, your kids are grown,
Right, yeah.
and she's still kind of integrating in there with you.
Wow.
So I know it sounds very strange, and in New Hampshire we have a lot of blue jays, a lot of animals there,
Yeah.
but she comes through in birds too a lot. So I don't know if you guys have bird feeders around the house, and
Yeah.
sometimes it can get a little crazy. That's your, the
That-
grandparents, right? Energy,
Isn't that-
spending time with you guys. So make sure you keep that bird feeder full. And
Isn't that? Yeah, hummingbirds.
you know,
I
so-
have a lot
oh,
of around.
perfect!
Yeah,
Yay!
isn't that
So
funny?
perfect,
Oh,
yeah.
my
So
goodness,
make sure you
yeah.
keep it full. And hummingbirds, of course, will come back this season.
Right.
But blue jays are big in New
Blue jay-
Hampshire. So I'm not sure if you
yes,
had any.
cardinal, a
or-
lot of cardinals,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah.
That's
So the energy comes
interesting.
through in birds.
Oh, my
so
goodness,
yeah, I
it's,
know. Isn't that
boy.
great? I know.
Yep,
so
that's,
any other questions you guys have? And
this is
I hope
good.
I gave some information.
We
to
don't
you.
want to let you
very
go,
much.
though. That's a
Oh
problem.
my
Yeah.
God!
We're
Oh no!
gonna have to
Okay.
keep her.
Yeah, we
I
can
know.
always come
Oh,
back,
right.
you
To
know.
wrap
So
up the show.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but
Whenever I'd love to
so
come back ever again. I mean, there's so
Sure.
many things that there's still to touch base on, and it's not even about me, it's about everything, because it's so vast, so, and if you ever look on my business Facebook, I really try to talk about things that are just not discussed, and this is like, these people need to learn these things, because we can better ourselves and better our lives.
Debbie,
On
why
your
don't you tell us
Facebook,
the Facebook
yeah.
page? Like, how do we find
Sure.
you?
So I'm on Facebook. It's Debbie Raymond, New England Medium, and so it's so cool because I had an old Facebook page that people just started writing on. I don't know how this happened. So it's Debbie Raymond Medium, but Debbie Raymond New England Medium
New
is
England
really
Medium.
the one
very
that I
good.
try to post everything on, and it's
that's
very
how
interactive.
People would contact you that way
Yes,
too if
yeah,
they
they can
wanted
message
to.
me through
Do you
there,
have
and my
questions?
email's on there as well.
Good,
I don't have a phone number only because when I had to change my phone number several times because it gets out of hand. Next thing I know, I can't eat dinner. Next thing I know, I can't do this because they had my phone number.
Yeah.
Right.
And people go, oh,
calls
just give
for
the
the kids
landline.
or-
It's
yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah.
They suck up the
No.
landlines. I
Right.
can't do it. So I do email only. Everything's in black and white. The communication's all in there. That's the best way to do it. So
And I'd love
yes.
to have you come back another time because
Yay.
even when we did meet, to talk about numerology, astrology, like all
Yes.
of these
All the
different
different
aspects.
Yes,
of
I love to
things.
have Lisa come.
Yeah.
So we've done shows in the past together. Yeah.
That's a
That's a
You know,
good
I
thought.
love her.
That
and
would
we're,
be-
we're
be
just such a great
wonderful.
pairing,
Yeah,
and
that would be great.
and
I'm
we've done it
still
in the past.
friends
We've done a
with
couple
her.
of them in the past. Perfect.
Wonderful.
Yes,
Yeah,
great.
I get monthly
All of her
updates.
newsletters.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
I
So,
still get
so
those
that would
from
be
her.
really
So I
great.
think
Talk
we
about a
have to part one and
conversation.
part two. I
Yeah,
think
that sounds
that's
perfect.
Yes,
But
oh
well,
gosh,
well, we
yeah.
don't
Thank
want to
you.
end. I mean, the
Yeah, I
energy
know.
has been phenomenal.
Thank
and
you.
I don't know how. With here you are here for the first time with us, and we just off the. Can you say like something about it? And you did literally. I mean,
Yes,
boom,
I
boom,
know.
boom. So and I know we all have questions floating around too.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
we cannot thank you enough. This was
Yes.
extremely interesting. You touched all of our hearts.
Yes,
Oh, thank you so
definitely.
much.
And people that we love, we know that they're still there with us. So
Yes.
we are going to say goodnight and thank you so much. So
Thank
say
you.
to everyone,
Thanks,
good night.
everybody.